Well, hello, and welcome to another episode of The Spotlight. I'm your hostess, Gayle Nicholson, Miracle Making Queen, and founder of Creative Command Coaching and Consulting. So thank you so much for joining me. I'm really, really excited to have this lady on because she's got some amazing stuff going on and so much to tell you about. So let me just kind of preface it a little bit by saying that this lady is one of my soul sisters. She has gone through some stuff that when she tells you about it, it's gonna hit like really hard, and you're gonna want to put yourself in her position. Like, how would you have reacted if this situation had happened to you? And I can only hope that if it had happened to you, that you would react in as powerful a way as this woman did. So please help me welcome Ms. Brenda Edelman.
Thank you so much for having me on, Soul Sister. I feel the same way.
Awesome stuff. Here's where I want to start with this, because I may have some amends to make to you. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah. So sometimes what happens in the world between women is that we see somebody that is doing the things that we'd love to do, and they're doing it really, really well. And we get a little bit jealous, right? And we're like, yeah, I want nothing to do with this. Get her out of my space. I can't stand next to such a freaking bright light. Get her away from me, right? And then I just surrendered to it. And it's like, you know what? It's a whole lot warmer in the light than in the shadow.
Yeah.
So,
well, thank you. I've certainly had that happen with other people in my life too, who then I've become friends with. And in some ways, like, I actually did work on this literally like 20 years ago with someone. And I realized that that person was a positive projection versus a negative projection. It was like that. It's like, I could see those things, and I saw so much like success in her and all this stuff that I wasn't able to see in myself, but actually I could, because I wouldn't have been able to see it with her. So yeah. Thanks for telling me that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So you've just been on a fire lately. The one woman show is doing really well. Still selling tickets. What's going on?
Yeah. So it's a hybrid, because we're in this brave new world of theater not being open. And so I was fortunate enough to be invited to do my one woman show on stage in San Diego, but not before an invited audience, instead, being COVID safe and having it filmed. And so we have one more weekend, this Friday, Saturday, Sunday, where it's streaming so people can be anywhere in the world. My Brooklyn Hamlet is the title.
I love that. And the first time I heard that title, it didn't click with me that it was Hamlet the play. I'm like, yeah, Brooklyn is a Hamlet. Okay.
Exactly. For people who haven't studied Shakespeare or aren't as familiar with it as I am, I can understand how it's like a clever title. It's just that, in Shakespeare, for people who don't know my story yet, in Shakespeare, his father is, the character is Hamlet, and his father is killed by his uncle, and his uncle marries his mother, and it's devastating, and it's about revenge and death. And my mom actually read Shakespeare to me from the time I was 3 years old as a bedtime story. I studied Shakespeare in New York City, London, not knowing that when this tragic event happened in my life, I would find solace knowing someone somewhere in history went through something like I did, because my father shot and killed my mother and then married her sister, my aunt. And so when I felt so alone, I was like, I remembered Hamlet, and I remembered that I wasn't alone.
Yeah.
And that's where the title came from.
I love that. I love the play on words. I love how it works on so many different levels. And I love that almost omnisciently your mother prepared you for what was coming.
Woo! Just gave me chills.
Right?
Yeah.
Ooh,
yeah. I just got them too. I have a larger, it's going to be show and tell. I have a larger than life-size painting that I use in my show. And I happen to have it next to me right now of my mother.
Oh my.
I'm not sure if you can see it.
What a striking woman. Beautiful.
I used to have it on on my desk, and I always feel like she's with me. So there you go. I dress up as her in the beginning of the show with the blonde wig, and I kind of come to life as her.
That's really awesome. That is really awesome. So what had you take this tack? Was it a conscious effort to recover from what was going on? Was it just, let me write this down? It's a catharsis. Let me get it out. And then, fashioning the clay of it later. How did you come to write it?
Yeah, it was organic. Partly why I teach this now, like how to turn your story into something healing and also as a way to express yourself, is because it took me so many years and such a roundabout way to get it out. But I first started writing a couple of years after my mother's death, just because I was in such despair. I couldn't sleep at night, and I was trying to figure it out in my head. I was like, I have to forgive my father because that's what you're supposed to do, but I would love him, I would hate him. And I started, like, 1 month, these poems just poured out of me at night. And one of the poems was where I accused my father. Like, I'm like, what happened? What happened? What happened? And he won't tell me, which is kind of what happens in life. But that poem, I was guided. I was already an actress, and I was guided to do a storytelling exercise in my acting class about being real, because I was hiding. I was always like hiding behind characters, but I was a mess emotionally. I didn't want to talk about anything. And I was literally like, God, spirit, whatever it was like, put your story on stage in that class, never thinking it would be a one-person show. And at that point, I kind of wrote that poem out into characters, my brother, my father, and I. And then I expanded it into like a 15-minute piece with some humor, because I had finally I was starting to feel humor again in my life, and the characters were so big in Brooklyn, and I put it up on stage, terrified, never ever thinking I'd later on have a critically acclaimed one-person show, because I was so ashamed. I was so afraid of judgment. And instead of getting judgment, I got a standing ovation. I had people come over to me and say how moved they were and how it healed something in them, even though it wasn't the same story. And then a director wanted to direct me, a producer, and kind of went in that direction to what it is right now.
That is phenomenal stuff. So essentially, let me kind of try to recap for those of you out there watching who, they're like, how can I even get this up and out of me, right? You were in a relatively safe space, a space where it was safe for you to start digging into what was real and bring that up and out into the public.
Yeah. Well, it was in a class that was very high. It was all my fellow actors. It was a top class. The work was really treated as sacred. Yeah. So, yeah.
And then you bring that sacred space to this training program you've got, right? Where people are expected to dig down, grab the stuff that you don't put out on the clothesline.
Right, because I really believe we're as sick as our secrets. I've been teaching this iteration of the class, Healing Through Story, Tell Yours, for the past 1.5 or 2 years. I have an online program too, for speakers, entrepreneurs, and performers. But it includes everything. It includes, telling your story, finding your story, right? Because there's so many stories, finding your story based on what the message of your life is. But a really big component of my work is healing from your story, because when I did the show the first time, I took 2 years off because I was miserable. People would laugh, people would cry. And I was like, well, this doesn't work. And so I got a master's in spiritual psychology. I kind of did the inner work I needed to do to see, okay, how can I thrive? And so I teach my storytellers, first of all, that they don't have to say anything they don't want to. But if, I give them techniques and exercises so that they can choose what they want to work on. And then oh gosh, sorry. I have some things.
Fine.
I have some things jumping up on my computer, like updates and stuff. So I just, and then I help them jump into the characters. Because what I can say is I play about 11 characters in my show. When I'm playing my dad, I can't play him as evil because people don't play themselves as evil. So it's actually a way in to find compassion, which of course is just compassion for myself.
That is brilliant. I love that. When I was going through my own recovery, there were I had mixed feelings too, like you do. One day you hate them, one day you love them. But somebody once mentioned to me that hurt people, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
And how badly could my father have been hurting to have hurt people the way that he did, right? That was my access to compassion, like you were just talking about.
Yes.
That way to go in and go, okay, yes, this was horrible. Yes, this unforgivable. We'll play with that word later. But this is also something that, no one goes through life like a Marvel villain, right? Knowing they're evil and embracing their evil and, applying their evil to the world. We all think we're the hero in our own story.
Right.
We all think we're doing the best we can, and we probably are. We just don't know how to get to doing better, right?
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's absolutely brilliant, though, to have that access to compassion.
Well, and one of the things that I had a huge breakthrough, and I do kind of a forgiveness ceremony on stage. I had a huge breakthrough that if I hated any part of my father, I hated a part of myself since he made me. And I had such a huge insight to have another layer of healing and forgiveness around that, because I didn't want to do that to myself, because I knew any place I closed my heart, I'm closing it to him, but who else am I closing it to if I'm not being conscious and I'm not like healing? And still I set healthy boundaries. I forgave my dad and I took him to court for wrongful death. So I'm not like, oh, and just keep doing what you're doing. And if you take no responsibility, just stay in my life. I never teach that,
I think that is an important enough aspect about forgiveness to reiterate very, very strongly. Forgiveness is not about, oh, everything's sunshine and roses and this never happened. Well, forget it ever happened. No, that's not forgiveness.
I don't say forget.
There you go. Yeah, because you never do actually forget. That's one of the lies that we've been told.
It's almost like maybe the goal would be to have your cells forget the hurt, and that's how the healing takes place. But don't forget like what happened or how someone's treating you, because then you're going to be hurt again, unless someone has shown remorse, which my father certainly never did.
Yeah. So, and that kind of brings me to the point that forgiveness is about giving up our attachment to the pain associated with that memory. Not forgetting the memory, but giving up the pain associated with it.
And you know what I realized, because I did teach I still teach forgiveness, but it's not the thing I run with. I'm more teaching storytelling, is that, well, I just got completely sidetracked.
When you're teaching storytelling about forgiveness?
About forgiveness. We were saying something right before then.
About forgiveness being for you, disattaching from the feelings. It'll come back. Sorry.
After doing the Q&A last night and teaching a class for an hour in Australia, I'm like, wow, shoot, I hope it comes back to me.
Yep, okay. It will. So that's phenomenal, though. So let's talk a little bit about how people can see the screening. How do they go through the process of getting a ticket? And is it shown at a certain time?
Yeah, the theater is allowing people to watch it all weekend long. I think they start at 12 Pacific time on Friday. Mm-hmm. So you can get tickets at scriptsranchtheater.org or oceansidetheater.org. It's being co-produced by these two theaters. It's such a great time to kind of
That's awesome. Yeah.
It's like helping theater come alive again in San Diego. Yeah. So it's in San Diego, but it's streaming everywhere in the world. So yeah, and I think that's all they need to know. All the information is there. You can get a ticket, and this is closing weekend.
Okay, great. Will you do me a favor and put those links in the comments section down below?
I will, and if I watch this later and I hear what I'm saying, I will also pop in.
Okay.
The point I was going to make. I think it was something about not forgetting what.
Well, yeah, that's kind of ironic, don't you think?
Yeah, and I forgot. Yeah.
All right, now let's talk a little bit for a moment about these wonderful freaking eyelashes that I got from you.
Yes, and I'm wearing my big selfies today.
They're amazing. I love these because, well, first of all, because they're magnetic.
They look gorgeous.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
How long do they take to put on?
Not long at all. Not long
5
at
minutes.
all. Like
5 minutes.
it's easier than lining my eyes, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, I absolutely love them. And I used to do the adhesive ones. Oh, such a pain in the.
I could never do the adhesive ones. And, as an actress, when I've been on stages, like I was touring with the second show before COVID hit, and one of the other actresses, there's 3 of us in Divas in Danger, escape, betrayal, and budget plastic surgery. That was what that was about. And one of the actresses always had the most amazing eyelashes, and I would always be like, I just can't do it. And then I would try magnetic ones at the stores, but they'd always like be slipping. And so I really wanted to check out the eyeliner that was magnetic, but I had so many questions. And then a friend of mine was selling them, someone I grew up with. And then a friend of mine actually who had a bout with cancer, I saw her in them. I saw how happy she was and how beautiful she looked. And I was like, let me check this out. And that's how I got into them. They're just so easy. And then you were like, what are those? Your lashes look great. So,
Yep. Totally.
and so now I'm selling them as well.
Awesome. So they have all kinds of different lengths and thicknesses and, not sparkly blingy, but,
Oh, they do have
black
blingy.
bling for the eyes. Oh, they do have blingy ones too?
Yeah, they have blingy ones and they have specials that come out. Yours are more natural.
Yeah.
And then they even have like colored eyeliner. So you could have like a brown, sometimes they have a brown lash. These are really big ones. I just thought they're so pretty.
Yeah.
I just put them on. Yours are more natural. Like I said, they even have midnight blue ones that were special. They had some with red in them. And then they have all different styles. I usually wear a different one, but I wanted to go bold today.
Yeah, I'm glad you did. I think they're adorable. The only reason I don't do a little bit more with it, like the longer ones, is because of the glasses.
Right.
Because I've had eyelashes where literally you blink and the eyelashes like hang up on the lens.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and it's not like they come off. It's like your eyelid gets stuck there.
Oh my God. And when we talked, you were like, do you have some that are not quite as long as the ones that I sent you? Yes. So certainly if anybody is interested, reach out to me.
Okay, cool. Yep. And mention it in the comments. Again, that link to go buy from you as well.
And it makes a real difference, because I also teach how to be yourself and be the best self on video. It really makes a difference to feel polished, to just have a pair of lashes on, and like I said, these take like 5 minutes to put on, which is what I like. I don't like to do a whole big to do, because I have to do a whole big to do with this hair because it's curly. I don't want to do it on my makeup.
I hear you. Oh my gosh. I went maybe 2 years ago when eyelashes were just starting to become big again. And I think I paid like $300 to have, like my eyelashes done, like the individual type thing. Right. And they looked gorgeous. Mm-hmm. I'm a tummy sleeper. I ruined them the first night.
I actually did those also. I am not a tummy sleeper, but that's terrible because it also takes so long to get them done.
Yeah.
But I do not like the way they grow out, in addition to the price and also how long it takes. It is nice to just wake up and not have to do anything, but they look bad on the, how the whole thing was wrecked. That's terrible.
Yeah, I mean, it was like bent weird and some were like lost and, but you're right. When you do that, and I'm not trying to call anybody out, but I have some family members that do them like that. And when they're getting close to their refill date, I'm sorry, I would be way too self-conscious to be seen out in public with my eyelashes looking like that, like 3 days before.
I never thought about that. It might be interesting to do these magnetic lashes when people are growing out those extensions, because it's an eyeliner. So you're not actually putting it on the lash like other magnetics. That would actually be a good thing to do in between. Yeah,
that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll grab a couple of pairs and just kind of slide them. Just like
and say, hey, in a nice way.
Here, fill in until they can get you in, hun.
It's so funny because of course there's the one side of this all, which is like, just be yourself, just be your fabulous self. But I am surprised that I never realized that literally like everywhere I was going, people have lashes on. And if you're watching TV, everybody has lashes on. So I was like thinking that, why are my lashes not looking good? But it was almost in comparison because everybody's wearing them.
Yeah.
But this is an easy way to do it and an expensive way to do it.
Yeah.
And just also, I like it because it's like an accessory, so I can change based on my mood. Like I wore the midnight blue ones the other day with a blue shirt, which was kind of cool.
Yeah, I gotta get some courage up and try those things. It's funny because, like you said, mine are very natural. I tend to go,
You look great.
fairly well. Thank you, but I don't. As much as I like sparkle and bling, I don't like big, outrageous. I can't do it myself. I love seeing it.
Not yet.
Not yet.
I don't know. I tend to rub off on it. Of course, coming from Brooklyn, everything's kind of big, but I do have my California in me now, which is more hippie-ish too.
Oh, I like that. A boho Brooklyn hippie.
Yeah, I'm quite the combination. If you do see my show, you'll understand it because, my father was this alpha male Guido, and my mom was this like bohemian artist. So I'm a mix of them for sure.
Wow. That's beautiful. Beautiful. Oh, give me the theater websites again. Say those for me.
Okay. ScripsRanchTheater.org.
Okay. Now, Scripps Ranch, that's Scripps the newspaper, so it's spelled SCRIPPS?
Yeah, Scripps Ranch Theater.
Okay.
.org, and the other one is OceansideTheater.org.
Excellent. I am so very excited for you about all of this stuff. I mean, it's just amazing. Congratulations. You deserve all of the attention and accolades that you're receiving.
Thanks. And one other thing I'll say is I'm right in the middle of my 6-week class with my storytellers and healing through Storytell Yours. Mm-hmm. And it's virtual now. And we have a showcase coming up. It's May 15th, this Saturday at 12 p.m. Pacific. So if anybody is interested, you can get a ticket to that also and see what it's like. In there, I help my students craft like 5 to 10 minute pieces, find their story, and also I direct them. So you could see what it's like. Everybody has very different things that they talk about.
That's awesome. Yes.
And actually perform.
And that is different also from the I'm reading it on the ticker as it goes by. The training, the free training, forgivenessandfreedom.com/free training.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Okay, that's super cool. That is, I don't have it up here right now. It's a 3-part video training. Tell your story, heal your life, create more wealth. I think I have 7 different ways to tell your story, to heal, to be on purpose, to express yourself, and to make an income. And also I share my rookie mistakes, like the things I definitely did wrong, so you don't have to. Nice. It's really, I've gotten great feedback from that. It's really practical. Everything I do is very practical so that you incorporate what I'm teaching right away. Because I want, my passion is helping everybody get through those things that they've lived through that maybe they thought broke them, but really broke them open. And whether you want to share it publicly or you just want to heal yourself to the core of your being so that the people around you are affected in a different way, that's my mission. So I'm always, giving something like that in my free gifts and things like that. And of course, if people want to take it further and want to be directed and things like that, I love working with people as well.
Awesome. I'm going to have to take you up on that. I need to expand my comfort zone with video, believe it or not.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, I mean, this is great. When I'm talking with someone, that's phenomenal, right? Now, Facebook Lives, talking to a little hole in the phone, not so much.
All right, I'm going to tell you something, but this is something for everyone coming up. It's coming up next month, my You on Video program, and it's specifically for that because everyone has a different thing. Like some people, great when you're talking to other people, but like when it's just that circle, it's like, I don't know what to say. And then for some people, it's the opposite. When they're alone, they know what to say, but they're terrified of being interviewed because they think they're not going to know what to say. So in that's a class that I'm doing that is specifically for that, like practicing live streams. I'm going to open something up in my free group to have people practice live streams and stuff in a safe way too, because I don't want people just, you know how some people are like, just go do live streams, just go do them, just go do them. And I'm like, no, don't. I'm coming from an acting background. I'm like, you're an expert, especially for entrepreneurs. If you're an expert and some like guru coach says, just do live streams, you'll get better. You're losing people because potential clients don't see you for your juiciness and your personality and your expertise because you're so nervous. And it's literally just a skill to learn, like I did for years in acting classes. It's like just learning where to look, you know, how to kind of look through the camera so that it's someone that you love is on the other side. You know, like there's just little techniques. You learn it and you get out of your head and into your heart. So
and that's the key right there, is getting out of your head and into your heart. And you don't get to do that until you've done it enough times that your head goes, oh, been here, done that, I'm out.
Exactly. But you also want to do it with the skills so that you're rehearsing correctly versus not rehearsing correctly. That was my point. Yeah.
Yes.
It's like telling me, it's like if someone to say, just get on a basketball court and just practice and you'll get better. I will not. I'll still not, you know, but if a coach comes over and says, turn, you know, move your elbow a little bit.
Hold your wrist straight.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yep. Makes absolute sense. Well, thank you so very much for being with me today. I have enjoyed this immensely. I bless you in all that you're doing, and I'm so very excited for you. If there's any way that I can be of support, please let me know.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you again real soon. Have a great week.